Starting with Charlie.
With quarterbacks, you always talk about guys winning the team, whether last week or this week in practice. How's Jalen been able to do that, leading and commanding the offense?
Yeah, I think the players have responded, really well to what he's had to do. And, I think, what we try to get our guys to do is focus on doing your job. And if everybody does their job, we're going to have a chance to be successful. And, it doesn't really matter who's in there playing. I got to do my job. And when I get the opportunity to do it, I got to be prepared to do it and go do it well. And sometimes, that's harder for guys to do who aren't starters. But I think it's a real test of your character if you can do it, so you can take advantage of the opportunity when it comes, which I thought Jalen did a pretty good job of last week, and hopefully we can build on that if he has to play this week.
Early in the season, you challenged the offensive linemen to play with more physicality. How would you say that's gone since then?
I think that in the last game, they showed signs of that. They showed signs of it, at times throughout the year. I just think, your whole body of work is based on, consistency and performance. That's what defines success. So, that's what we got to keep working on with them. But I do think we're making progress, and I do think that this last game was probably the best that they've been all year.
Kelly.
Antonio Johnson, their safety. What stands out about him and just their secondary as a whole?
Oh, their secondary is good. They're big. They're physical. They're very athletic at corner. They're long. They got good size. Tackle well. Antonio is a really, really good player. So they move him around some. They place in different spots, but they're a good defensive team. Really good defensive team.
Chase.
I want to ask you about defensive linemen getting their hands up for pass deflections. How big of an aspect to DL play is that, and how does it play into creating turnovers since a lot of those deflections can get picked off?
Well, obviously we work on matching the hand, and pass rush all the time. We're trying to get guys to do that. We emphasize it. I think it's a batted ball. It's just like defending a guy and knocking a ball off of them. It's a very important play, and it can create turnovers. And I think you do it best when you push the pocket in the middle, so you're closer to the quarterback when it happens, and you're defending the middle of the field so he can't see as well. And you try to match the hand where he's throwing it, and that's where you get batted balls. But that's something that we emphasize all the time.
What have Kool-Aid and Tarian done to separate themselves from the competition at cornerback?
I think both guys have played well. Haven't given up a lot of big plays. I think that's the key to the drill. Keeping people cut off in a deep part of the field, playing the ball in a deep part of the field. They've been good tacklers. They played the ball in the deep part of the field. They played man-to-man fairly well. So, those are probably the most critical factors, for them to be successful. And, the other guys are doing fine too, but these guys have been the most consistent.
Couple more here, Tony and James.
What goes into kind of corralling a guy like Devon A-Chain where he can get the ball in so many different ways, whether it be receiving, running the ball?
It's hard, First of all, running back is, a mismatched position in the passing game, and they do a great job of, running them on, difficult routes to cover, especially if you're trying to play man-to-man. He's very elusive. He's got great speed. He's a great returner on kickoff return. And, if this guy gets in space, he's got a burst. And so you got to do a great job playing team defense against guys like that and try to minimize, the opportunities where he gets mismatched on somebody. I think that's the biggest issue. And but the guy's really a good player and good receiver, good runner. He's good all-around player.
James, finish up here.
You just mentioned about the defensive line being able to push from the middle, especially on those pass deflections. Talk about Jaheim Otis and how he's been able to do that, especially against Arkansas, and then coming into this week, what the plan is to use him for there.
Talk about who?
Jaheim Otis.
Jaheim Otis.
Oh, Jaheim, yeah. Jaheim is a, guy that has a lot of power. He's got pretty good quickness for his size. He's gotten in a lot better shape. So he's moving better. And he did a really good job in the last game of pushing the pocket, being involved in a couple sacks. But it's important that you have more than one guy doing it, so you don't get imbalanced in the rush, especially if you're playing against a really athletic quarterback like last week and probably this week. So I think pass rush lanes are important. Guys can push the pocket, know when to turn speed to power so they don't get pushed by the quarterback and stay in the lane. All those things are really important. So, and he's learning to do that more and more effectively all the time. All right, thank you guys.